Now, if I've got quite a few programs open, so let me know if there's any issues with the internet. However, looking back to Monday's email, this came in on Monday. I didn't cover it because of the fire drill in the office. However, this Euro Aussie, this is the Euro Aussie, I can see that, it says it up there, but you can, if you right click on the chart and, you can get it up here as well. Ask your coach how to do that. Right, Fibonacci from this point I see as incorrect because that's just a double bottom. You shouldn't be looking at that from that point there. You should be looking at it back from the 50 EMA, or if you're saying that it's cycling along this trend line, then at least back to that trend line. But I'd draw mine from the 50 EMA there. From here doesn't make any sense, so you'd have it back to this point here. And that trend line, I've got mine going from that low there, cutting across to this low here, and we get that trend line. But obviously the Aussie strength at the moment is making that look pretty ordinary. So other than that, higher highs touching horizontal supports. Yeah, you got that that high, and obviously the double low over there. Risk reward, lot size 11. That's good. So it's just the Fibonacci you just need to be careful with. I'm not sure what that arrow is pointing at, but yeah, that's okay. Pound Aussie. Obviously, if you're taking on 3 Aussie trades, if you sent me 3 Aussie trades, if you're taking on 3 Aussie, you shouldn't be more than 1% exposed. Oh, sorry, more than 3% exposed to the Aussie, because obviously if they all go sour, as they are looking, then you're going to get nailed. I don't know why you've got that fib there. That doesn't make any sense that you draw that fib. You should be from here. You said RSI convergence, bullish price action, fib support. That doesn't make sense that you got fib support at 81.26 when you're drawing it to there. You draw this if you're looking for extensions. Okay, so in terms of the pound Aussie, you can see there we're looking at the 786. Going back to the last cycle, you draw the previous phase 1 to get the support for the next phase 1. Aussie Kiwi, again, this fib doesn't make any sense. Okay, it's gone beyond that, so you can't say you've got, you're saying with support it's resistance. And you're saying you've got trend line support. You haven't drawn that on there. You're saying you've got horizontal resistance. Well, it should be resistance, not support. Well, you don't have that on there either. Okay, so Aussie Kiwi, you can see there's the Fibonacci from this point here, the last cycle. There's your horizontal resistance, and I don't see any trend line resistance on this. Drawing a couple of points, you're not going to get trend line resistance. If you come to that high there, you're obviously cutting through it, and that doesn't make any point either. Okay, so be careful where you're drawing your Fibonacci's, because this doesn't make sense. You need to go in and discuss with your coach why we look at Fibonacci's and what do these mean, so you understand them. And therefore, if you understand it, you'll know where you should be putting it. Okay. Question online is, I got pummeled in the yen crosses. and now getting pummeled in the Aussie crosses. Well, is it me or is it the strategy? Well, I don't think it's either. I think it's market conditions. You know, the Aussie dollar to rally 100 pips on the back of a home loan data, I think was, or building data, I think was rather exuberant. And what was this? Back here we'd be looking at it, and back here you're looking at it. You know, there's the strategy does work, and it has worked. So I think it's just market conditions that there's a flicking over. I think more this rally yesterday wasn't really the home line. It was more about the US dollar starting to get a little weaker rather than strengthening. And so some of the fundamentals are shifting direction, and that's what's causing the prices to move around. Last week it was the emerging markets. This week it's the dollar weakness. So I don't think it's either for those. Volume keeps fading, does it? Well, okay, I'll close down a few programs. Quit. Okay. So I've only got the programs I need. Okay. You have to be patient and persistent. Yes, you do, mate. Sorry. If US dollar weaker, shouldn't we see pound US rise? Yeah. Yes, you should see pound US dollar rise, and I think we are seeing pound US dollar rise. So, yeah, I'm seeing the pound US dollar rise there. So the cable is quite strong, and the US is starting to get weaker. My two Aussie trades are down, but may turn bullish. Hidden divergence, pound Aussie, euro Aussie. Is this good for a long trade? Pound Aussie, we do have bullish hidden divergence, which is generally good for taking trades long. You've got from there to there, and then you've got and then you've got from there to there as lower lows in RSI. So we're close to being oversold in RSI. We were back 4 days ago, and there's very little room to move on the downside here. So you'd be expecting the market to rally from this point rather than to fall. The Euro Aussie, on the other hand, it's not yet overdone, oversold, and I see a little bit more Euro weakness than the pound. And yes, there's hidden divergence if you're looking at this previous low here, going across to that. We're certainly seeing hidden divergence. Yep. So that should be looking good. Do you see the Aussie strengthening now? You were short-term bearish. I recall I am still short-term bearish Aussie. There's no reason for it to be up here. Even less reason for the Kiwi to be up here, but that's another thing. Yes, I am still bearish Aussie. Do I have a trade on the Aussie? No. The only trades I've got on are the pound and the yen. I haven't found an opportunity in the Aussie yet that I'd like to take. If this breaks this high, though, then all bets are off because you now have broken the downtrend. Does that make sense? We're now not getting lower highs. So that's a resistance that I'll be watching with some interest. Chinese trade balance, really? Oh shit. Chinese trade balance has just come out, has it? Was that at 12:30, wasn't it? Or was it tentative? It just came out at 1 o'clock, up 31 billion compared to 24 expected. So yeah, that'll put a little rocket under the Aussie. Yep. Which it has. And the Kiwi as well. Yen and the pound are looking alright. I think we need, rather than taking every trade signal that you guys see, we need to be a little more selective in our trades. I didn't take any of the Aussie crosses, and still haven't, but I did take the pound and the yen. I'm not sure. I know the prop book is quite heavily weighted on the pound Aussie and the Euro Aussie. The majority of you guys are in it. The Euro Aussie did look better than the pound Aussie, but yeah, it's a tough one. I'm not sure. Yeah, I really can't answer that. Okay, squirrel that one away. Pound Aussie long. This came in Monday afternoon. Long entry pound Aussie. We were talking in the course yesterday, just on this pound Aussie, we were talking in the course yesterday that you should move your stop underneath this bar here. Would you really do it though? When you're there's no point moving it 20 pips or so to save yourself 0.2%. Or you'd probably just leave your stop where it was. So back to this research. Pound Aussie continuing on the 10th of Feb, bullish divergence, yes. Trend line, no, which is good. Just a sec. Sorry guys. So higher highs, yes. Emails, MA, support of the 50, RSI convergence, bullish price action, yeah. Fib support, trendline support, tally 5 out of 9, lot size 0.15. Yeah, well, that looks all reasonable. Horizontal support, you said yes, but you haven't put it on there. But and I'd say RSI is converging, it's following price action. What did I see? I didn't see in the pound Aussie that you guys did see. I know I already had long pound position, and I was bearish Aussie, so I didn't really see that in the Aussie dollar action. I remember when you're trading the pound and trading the Aussie, you should look at the currency crosses, and this here wasn't exactly extremely bearish. You've got a buyer bar. We're expecting it to turn here, yeah, for sure. But you've got a buyer bar followed by a doji followed by another strong buyer bar. There's a lower high, ring low, but there's seems to be more buying sentiment here than there were selling. So I kind of just avoided it until I saw more selling, and I suppose that's what I saw and what I was looking at. The fading may be your mic position, or it could be your internet, mate. My mic is not moving; it's stuck to my head, so it ain't going anywhere. So I had a couple of questions on why I didn't take the Aussie, and that's the main reason is the Aussie dollar itself wasn't showing any real sign of weakness there when you're expecting to see it. Tuesday morning, PDF, dollar Sing. Horizontal support is a little weak. Yeah, we looked at this yesterday in the boot camp. Horizontal support is very weak. There really wasn't much there. There was a couple of those here. Yeah, you've got this trend line, which is about the only, and the 50 EMA, which is about the only support you could suggest, and the fib. But yeah, I think it was less than weak. I think it was, more like a wimp than weak, because I just couldn't find anything that would support that price there on the dollar Sing. Try as I might, there was just nothing there. It was either a little higher or a little lower. Was where the down here you could say off these highs here or these highs here you could say you've got weak support, or then you're going to across here, which is which is above price action at the moment. So I didn't see any kind of real support line there, and that's why I wasn't sort of too. I mean, if you go off that line there, as I said, there's that high there, you're talking less than weak, you're talking just circumspect. There's just nothing in that, I don't think. So then we come back to where we are. The price has gone all the way through it. So that's a minor support. And here, going off this, you're just really going off that high there, which is not much at all. So yeah, it's showing a ring low, but these signals are showing an engulfing bar. Well, you should always go off MetaTrader, but this is showing an engulfing bar, and oh, shit, did you get in it? No, you wouldn't have got in it. Well, I hope you didn't get in it. So this is a bullish bar, yeah, but I don't think there was much in that, and there was certainly not real horizontal support behind it. And now we're seeing the US dollar weakness in the last couple of days just push it further south. Yep, wrong one. Didn't get in. Good. Also from Tuesday morning, Euro, Aussie, Pound, Aussie. More of this. Higher highs, higher lows. Above 200, yeah, above 50 horizontal support, yeah, $1.50. RSI convergence, yes. Retracement support, trendline support. No resistance in the way. Hidden divergence. Bullish chart pattern, double bottom, yep. Seasonal Euro flat, Aussie slightly bullish in Feb. Okay. So that'll be against this trade. If Aussie's bullish, then this would be falling. RSI divergence, yes, Class A. Yeah, okay, Fib retracement 61. Okay, I wonder if you got in, you were looking at this for a Wednesday trade. So no, you wouldn't have got in, because that's Tuesday, you would have missed it. That's been Wednesday. And same with the Pound Aussie. You shouldn't have got in. We'll wait up 84. Entry is 84.06. What's your entry on the 53.42? Good. Yeah, missed it. So you would have missed this one as well. But yeah, everything was there for the trade. You've got the fib in the right place. Could even have the fib off that cycle there. Yep, I concur with all of that. So That's all good, Matt. Track record for me to check. Pound. Checklist. Higher highs and higher lows. Well, this no would depend on where you're looking at the cycle for, or from, sorry. I'm looking at this ring low off 63 here as being pretty important, and therefore, you know, this is your cycle effectively. Yeah. That's your cyclicity there. Yeah. And therefore you are getting higher highs and higher lows. Yes, it has breached this low, but in fact that 63 held, I think, was very important, and things should continue. So I'm just going back to your analysis. Above the moving averages, well, you can't say yes to that because you certainly are below the 50. Horizontal support, absolutely, and $1.63. Bullish price action, yes. Fib retracement support. Okay, you got your fib wrong. Sorry, excuse me, you got your fib wrong. As soon as I put these earphones on, I squeeze my head in between the ears such a way that I keep yawning. Fib's wrong, right? That's, you draw that fib, you've drawn the phase 2, okay? And that doesn't make any sense for what the fib we're looking for is in a trend continuation is retracement support. Yeah, so you can see I've drawn this cycle here, and we've got the 50 as the support. All right. Drawing the phase 2 is where you would expect the market to finish this current cycle. So we draw this phase 2 like this that you've done, and therefore we'd be expecting this phase 1 that we're currently trading to finish somewhere in there, in between the 1.2 and the 2. Okay, so that's twice I've seen the Fibonacci's drawing phase 2 and saying you've got support. You don't. Okay, this is the move, and you had the 50 come off that, and you could have been trading yesterday, or you could have traded the day before on Friday and taking this long. Fib is confusing. Not really. You draw for new phase 1. All right, we're looking. Let me clear this up a bit. All right. For a new phase 1, which we were looking at this a couple of times ago, you draw the previous, and as I said, this is, I believe this is cycling, this is your last significant low. Okay, so you draw the previous phase 1 to get the new phase 1 support. Okay, I'll go and draw, what else is, EuroCAD. Okay, so you draw the previous phase 1 to get the new phase 1, and I don't think we've got this. You know, people were looking at this the other day saying, here, we're in a trade, but this is the stronger sort of area in there where you've got a horizontal support line and you've got the 50 fib, and you're in between the 50, in between the 50 fib and the 618, you've got the 50 EMA, you've got that horizontal, which hopefully is a reasonable support line from way back yonder. It's close. Yeah, not much else. This low here, that low there. Yeah, it's close to being a support line. If we move it up a little bit, I'd do that. Okay, so now we've got a bit of a zone. So do you see what I mean? Is you're drawing the previous phase 1 to get where the new phase 1 starts, and for phase 2 you draw the previous phase 2 to get the new phase 2. So there's your previous phase 2. We can see that it turned on the 618. Previous phase 2 to see where the new phase 2 starts. Previous phase 1 to see where the new phase 1 starts. Let's clear that up a bit. Having them on the same key might add to that. Okay. I was very confused last week. Well, yeah, it's a learning curve. We'll get there. Okay. Market report. Response to my market report this morning. Interesting night, interesting future, especially if interest rates go negative. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Pound CAD double swing low phase 1. Pound Swiss swing low phase 1. Aussie Kiwi swing high, but will yesterday's bar affect this, or is it still worth a look? Anything else on your radar? Nothing on my radar today. It's just about managing the trades. Waiting for things like the Euro Yen and the Swiss Yen to decide which way they're going to rotate. And we're getting a cycle above the EMA, and I'm looking for sort of weakness in the Aussie, but it hasn't occurred. Pound CAD, you ask, is it a double low? Is it a phase new phase 1? Well, I'll take this fib off. If we draw the previous phase 1, let's presume that it's coming from here, and we're going to there. You're at the 50. Yep. And therefore, that's a reasonably strong retracement. But we haven't got anywhere near the 50 EMA. It is cycling along the 20, but if we go back to where price sort of started, or was close to the 50, we're nowhere near any of the retracement Fibonacci's. So I don't necessarily believe that this is this phase 2 that is currently completing has finished yet. I think I'd be looking to, effectively what I'm trying to tell you is that I'm a buyer in there somewhere. Okay. It may not get there, like it didn't. I was looking to buy this one, when we're back here, over here, missed just by quite a bit, but I don't think this selling is over. I'm still bullish bullish pound, but I think the CAD is, in the current environment, we're seeing the commodity currencies doing pretty well, such as Australia and New Zealand and the Canadian, and they're gaining some strength, and I think that will continue in the short term, but only for a little period. The overall sentiment and trend of these commodity currencies is negative, and therefore they should turn back to being bearish. Okay, pound Swiss. That's a bit messy. Let's take some stuff off there. I've drawn that. That was a 4-hour, looking for the 4-hour. Okay, so what are we seeing here is slightly uptrend, aren't we? Yep. And we're getting higher highs, and we're getting higher lows. So effectively, there's your cyclicity. And sort of bounced off. We need a horizontal support line. There's quite a big resistance there at 84. I do derive the majority of my news from Bloomberg, but I do have other sources. I'll show you my other sources. I look in Reuters and Economist, Telegraph, Wall Street Journal, Zero Hedge. So I do look at all of those. That's where I get most of my info from. So what are we doing? Looking at here, there's no real. Let's see if we just put price there, all that there. If I look at how's those lows there. There's just so many turning points. Swissy's a little hard to sort of pick. It's quite a choppy currency pair, the Swissy, at the moment. Therefore, this is quite a choppy thing, but it certainly has built up a lot of going sideways here, and RSI's burnt off all the overbought, and you could be looking at that as a, we have an engulfing bar, bullish, inside bar, high, low. There's a ring low there. Can you just send this to me? This morning you sent this to me. Yeah, okay. Look, I'd prefer to wait for another high, low, but it's just a messy chart. It's not very clear to see. Yeah. Aussie Kiwi swing high. Did have a swing high. Here, I think some people got in, might have been triggered in underneath this. That low was 85. That low was 80. Jeez. Yeah. If you went in at 80, you sold the low. Again, it's a buyer bar or close to bullish, or buyer bar close to bullish. Want to see selling intention here, clear selling intention. But for me, the biggest thing about this chart is not that. As I discussed yesterday, for me, the biggest thing about this chart is the monthly and that horizontal level going back into the 105, across there, 106 even. Can we see that? Every time it's been down here, look at the reaction, and that's going way back into the 90s. So to me, that's pretty powerful support line. And if you're looking to get short, that's your limitation is really around there, 106 to 104, that 200 pip area. So if you're going to risk 100 pips to get 200, that's okay. But the probabilities of you getting even that 200 are probably limited. And I'll be looking to take this long once we get a cycle above the EMA. Shallow EMAs on the pound Swiss, are you talking about? Shallow EMAs. Yeah, the EMAs are flat, if that's what you meant, rather than trending. That's also a clear sign that there's little going on. But we are quite literally making higher highs nearly every second month or so. So in terms of the cycle, we're due for another run. I prefer RSI to be down here like it was at these points when we had those runs, rather than here. But yes, the moving average as being flat would indicate that there's no direction whatsoever. This one came into my other email address, which I've asked you guys not to send to, please. For the analysis on these, can you send to my prop manager email? Aussie dollar Kiwi, original stop loss management on Aussie Kiwi. Okay. following a reversal bar yesterday, I had moved my stop loss to 109.22. Okay, saving yourself about not much. I chose this because it's 13 pips above the horizontal. Okay. I chose this over putting the stop loss above yesterday's high. That's fair enough. It's you need a reason to move your stop, and if you've got a reversal bar, that's a very good reason. Where you put your stop is your discretion, where you think it's better protected, and being above that horizontal, this high here, then it's better protected. However, if you've come to this bar here, you're less protected, but you're also risking less than half your capital now if you'd got in here. I presume somewhere around here. Yep. So, if it's going to go up and then you only lose 0.5% instead of going up and losing 0.75%, you can understand the maths behind that. But yes, you are better protected up here. You're triggered in the trade and the trade is going against you, you should be getting out of it. Okay, do you move stop loss directly behind a reversal bar, or look for resistance support level, have it better protected? Well, it should be better protected. You should be protecting your capital, but also protecting your stop. So with the pound Aussie, for example, there was little reason to move your stop because it's better protected here, even more so on the Euro Aussie, because you've got that double bottom here. Yeah? It's better protected underneath that than moving it up. Seems to be duplicating my line. It's interesting. It's better to have it under this point here than moving it up 20 pips or so and putting it under there. So this bar would obviously, going underneath that, you'd be out by now, and instead of 1%, you might have walked away with 0.8% loss. But you're obviously getting in there, you're closer to the market and more likely to be taken out. So that's a decision you need to make as a trader as to whether or not to, are you prepared to take the point, the difference, and actually take the 1% hit, or can you save yourself some money and stay in the game for a bit longer? But certainly, if it starts going against you, you should be looking. If it starts going against you, you should be looking at protecting your capital and getting out straight away. Okay. Pound CAD. Can you guys still hear me? Someone's saying there's no sound. Yeah, all clear? Okay. Sweet. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Pound CAD. Pound CAD. Let's have a look at it. I think we'll discuss this one. I'm not so certain that, as I said, I'd like to be a buyer around here. I'm not so certain it's finished off. It certainly had a good, strong run. There's a bit of resistance up here. But yeah, it's had a good strong run. There should be a pullback. It may even pull back into sort of, having looked at that run. Oh, don't do that to me. I don't want that there. Having looked at that run. Yeah, it could even be coming back into somewhere down here. So if we look at the weekly from that run, having a bit of a pullback to test support. Support could be in there, or it could be here. Somewhere in there, but it'll be interesting to see how it handles. Got to find a support line and see how it handles that when it gets there. But yeah, I think that taking it up here is probably a little ambitious. Okay, I'm interested in your comments on the feedback of the pound CAD. It's not because I think it is an ideal trade since it's cycling along the 20 instead of the 50. Yes, and the price action is not that strong yet. I'm mostly interested in what you think of the concept of that the trend line was acting as resistance for some time, and price has broken through it. Now it seems to be acting as support. Interesting. Well, that's an interesting concept. Yeah. So look at your other file. Okay, so that was your resistance. You had 1-2 touches, shied away on the third, is now support. So what does come? What is resistance is now support. That makes a fair call. You know, this green one is showing me what? Convergence, and this red one is showing us hidden divergence. Okay. There were all these low test bars which would probably make you feel like taking the trade, but yeah, it's only off the 20. I think back down here off the 618 would be stronger. And it'll be interesting if it falls underneath that. Will this trend line then act as resistance again? Therefore your target up here might need to move out way over here somewhere. Yeah. For this to rise, the CAD would need to continue to work. The CAD would need to weaken. Well, it certainly, you know, against the pound should weaken against the pound. Yeah. Is it possible for the CAD to continue weakening? Absolutely. They're in a lot of trouble, the economy. They're talking about lowering rates. So, yeah. Mate, I agree with you in the sense that on this analysis that I think this is a weak entry. And even the trend line is probably a little bit weak. You need to have a horizontal in there, which you say you've got, being this blue line, I presume. I'll be a little hesitant about doing 0.5% on this. And I prefer to be buying it from down there rather than from up here. That's just my. I do find this interesting, your trend line analysis, and I'll be keen to see how that goes. I don't think trend lines are as strong as horizontals, but you know, if this holds, then you know, good luck to you, and that should be going okay. High test bar bearish. Is there a strong reason why? Oil price has been rallying. High test bar being yesterday, you're talking about this one. Oil price has been reasonably strong, so the CAD has got some benefit from that. And that's about it. You know, the commodity currencies like the Aussie is also CAD and the Aussie are both commodity currencies, and they've both been pretty strong. So you'd expect a reason for that is in commodity prices. So you know, I would. It's those kind of moves are never for very long. So I think this might just push down to the 50 and give us potentially an opportunity to go long again off that. You know, these lows here might be what we're looking at in time. Okay, that's the last of the emails, guys. Might have an early mark today. Unless you want me to, I've gone through the charts and there's nothing I've seen that I particularly like. As I said, it's just about managing your trades. These two entries down here were my daily entries. My stop losses now break even for those. So I went in on the 4 hour above this bar here last night, and have now, because my first trades are risk free, I've got another 0.5% or so on this one. That's the pound, and the other trade I've got on is the dollar yen, which 2 buy bars. My stop's underneath that second buy bar, and I'm just patiently waiting for it I was looking at potentially going in on the 4 hour if this was a higher high. Yeah, because now the original risk was is halved, so I can add that risk back on again on the 4 hour. Does that make sense? So go in above, if this was a higher high, go in above that, and the stop underneath that, so adding another half a risk. Do you do a pending on your scaled in order? Yeah. I trade the same method every time, whether it be the 4 hour or daily. It's the same method as waiting for that sentiment and going with it. Even on the pound here, it was test bar and waited for it to the sentiment to go with it. Yep. So other than that, unless you've got any questions for me, that is covered. Trading on the 4 hour is covered in the Pro, yes, which is in, I think, the second week of March. Sniper long on Aussie. What are you doing? You had a sniper yesterday on Aussie. Sniper short when it was totally against, and now you're going to buy the high. Sorry, I'm just looking at the email saying the sniper long on the Aussie. I'll be buying the high of the day, guaranteed. Wait for price to retrace back to the 50 at 90.24. Can you recap your 4 hour signals on the pound? Have I managed to revamp the 4 hour manual? No, I'm still waiting on what we're doing with the prop. There's still discussions going on in the background and management to work out the future of the prop course, or the educational side of the prop course. And so I'm waiting on that before I start rewriting manuals, because I also am considering adding the hourly chart to our trading, which includes takes it on a lot more risk, but trading on the hourly, but also gives a lot more opportunities. What did I see here? We had a little kind of mini cycle above the EMA. My risk was that I had no risk on. Saw this test bar here, so I went in above the high of that test bar. Yeah. A kind of mini cycle here. It's not a very strong cycle, but it's just adding to a trend as it goes along. Okay, that is it for the day, guys. Unless you've got any other questions, I'll give you 30 seconds to throw some questions at me. Otherwise, I shall see you tomorrow for another enjoyous hour of fun. No worries. Yesterday, all good, guys. Where was your stop on the pound? On the daily? My stop on the pound on the daily was both. I took one trade. I got taken in by the spread on this day, and then I went in again at this green line, which is above the a couple of pips above the high of this bar. The stops were both at below this swing low, and below that 163 massive horizontal support line. My stops are now just basically 5 pips in the money on this trade, and my stop on the 4 hour is at the same price. So if it gets back here, I've lost 0.5% on this trade, and haven't lost anything on these trades, so I walk away with that, or minor gain on these trades, so I walk away with a 0.5% loss effectively if it does get back here, because all my stops on all 3 trades are at that price. Okay. Anything else, guys? Why did I move my stop? Well, there's a test bar. I wasn't really testing anything, but it's a test bar. But then I saw an opportunity on the 4 hour, so I took it. Euro Aussie, do you see any possible entry if tomorrow buy a bar? Euro Aussie. Potential entry. Buy bar. Nope. What you'd be no. What you'd be looking at now with the Euro Aussie is potentially having a cycle underneath it. Look, I'm not a believer of that. I don't think there's that much strength in the Aussie. There's still a lot for the Aussie to suffer yet. And whilst I am bearish the Euro, I don't think that this could just fart us about for some time at the moment. Whilst the Aussie weakens and the Euro weakens, this just could be going anywhere. If this is ends up being a test bar tomorrow morning, I'd prefer to see a cycle above the EMA now, rather than trying to take this on. If you can show us how to draw the fib correctly, do you always use the fib RET or fib extensions? Always use the fib RET. Right, we've set the fib retracement up, fib RET, to include our extensions. So it's something like this. You are drawing, right? You draw your fib retracement tool, draw the phase 1 to find the new phase 1. Yep. Which would be generally in between the 50 and the 61.8. So that's where we're looking for the new phase 1 to start. You draw the previous phase 1 to see the new phase 1. So when it gets up into this blue box, I'll be looking to short. Okay. And you draw the previous phase 2 to see where the new phase 2 starts. So here's your previous phase 2. And from that low to that high is the previous phase 2. And it's in that zone there that we're looking for phase 2 to start, off the 1.618 or the 2. Off the 1.272 does happen, but I don't think that's as strong. So off the 1.618, you can see that is offering a support. And so you draw the previous phase 2 to see where the new phase 2 is. It's the same tool, it's just drawing phase 2 to find the new phase 2. Phase 1 to find the new phase 1. Yep. Phase 1 to find the new phase 1. So we can see there that this phase 1, which started here, finished there, phase 2, and then we get a new phase 1 off the 50. Okay, it's that simple. Are you still more bullish US dollar than pound and then Aussie? I'm not bullish Aussie at all. I think this is just an aberration and won't be lived for long. I prefer to be bullish Aussie later in the cycle of the economy, which is towards the end of the year. Cable I am bullish. US dollar I'm bullish because of the tapering, but it's having a bit of a moment of weakness as people are moving funds back out of the US and into higher risk assets. Any 90 or 10% extremes showing for on COT report? I haven't had a look yet. Where's your Aussie yen stop loss? Is below the second consecutive buy bar. Aussie yen stop loss daily is got into the trade on this day here. That's my trade day because of the swing low. That's my trade day and the first buy bar. This is the second buy bar. I'm just underneath that, and so that has halved my risk. My initial risk was under here, my 100.6 or something like that. It's now there, which is half my risk. Obviously, I've still got some risk on the board because it's not a break even, but it's half of what it used to be. And I have another buy bar. If this ends up being another 2 buy bars, if today's bar is a buy bar, then I'll have 2 consecutive buy bars and I'll have my stop to break even. And once I'm at break even, it opens a whole new bunch of doors for us. Rightio. All good, guys. Enjoy your afternoon. Hump day, isn't it? Today's Wednesday, isn't it? Yeah. Enjoy your afternoons, and we shall chat again tomorrow. Thanks.